What's good, everybody? So today I'm in the lab. Decided to do this one in the lab. Welcome to another episode of Us. This podcast is going to be dealing with communication. I think we have really one of the biggest issues that we have, or one of the things that creates the most problems among us humans, is how we communicate. And technology has not helped in the slightest bit when it comes to our communication. I just want to highlight a few things that we take for granted. I think we all say things that we really don't mean. They've become certain words and phrases that's just become kind of like blase blah, like whatever. That half the time, we're almost like just reciting, or like robots just saying things we really don't mean. And I think we as humans, we need to, I guess, evolved to a place where we're more intentional with our communication. One of the biggest ones is how are you doing? I know myself, how many times we say that phrase to people, but we really don't mean it, right? Like, I don't really care to know how you're doing. Like let's be real. It's just something you say when you say hi, and you have no interest in the response, but we say it anyway, It's like it become part of like the conversational pastime. So I say, yo, how you doing? And then if the person is actually to respond and begin to really tell you how they're doing, we're going to look at them kind of weird. Like, okay, I did not want all of that, but whatever, But so then why ask the question, So how are you doing is like a nice, a nice thing that we say. What if it's not nice to see you? Like how about we just say hello? How about we just say hello? Like, just be intentional about what I'm saying and what I really want to communicate, and being true to myself. I think because we oftentimes say these things, after a while, we have to create these extra words to describe something that is simple, because now the way we've often used it has been, we've been desensitized to it, right? So what about I'm sorry? I'm sorry is another one. Like, are you really sorry? Let's be real. Keep it a buck. Half the time we're not sorry. What we are is that we're sorry we got caught, which is a different story, right? It's a completely different belief system than you actually being sorry or regretting what you have done. Because the reality is, when we're saying sorry in those moments, especially when we see the person that is hurting, we're really not sorry for what we've done. We're really sorry that what we did is producing hurt to the person that we love. And we see disappointment on their face. So that's why we're sorry. But we don't say that. We're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm so sorry. But really, you're not sorry. You're sorry that you got caught. And, but I guess the question is, well, how can someone say, you'll end up looking really extra jerkish, like you'd be like the most rude person, like, you got caught, and then you're not even sorry that you got caught. But isn't that the truth? That is the truth many times with us. That, let's take for example a cheating situation. That's like the most common. In a cheating situation, when I get caught, it's like I'm not at that time, I'm not sorry for what I did, because usually when I cheated, it was a selfish act. I did it because I wanted to do it, or I felt I needed to do it, or whatever the reasons were. You weren't considering the other person. So the fact that you're saying sorry is just like, man, I'm really sorry that this act that I did is hurting you this bad. I wish it didn't, but that's what I'm sorry for. You know, so we say things like I'm sorry, but when really it's I'm sorry I got caught. Um, and even on the flip side, because let's say for example, if someone is to be honest and say, you know what, I'm sorry I really got caught. I was hoping you never found out. But I'm not sorry for what I did. If I had it to do again, I would do it again because of whatever reasons. Now, would the person receiving that receive it well? Obviously not. They're going to be even more devastating and be more hurt. But I think what we need to do as humans is to give some amount of credit. I don't know what that amount would look like, but some amount of credit and understanding to the truth speaker, to the person that's deciding to, you know what, I'm not going to BS you. I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm telling you straight up what it is and how I'm feeling right now. So I'm going to give some sort of credit for that truth that you feel, because what that does is also allows you to see the person's true self and to see the person's true heart, to see if they're really sorry for what they did. And I think that's what the Bible is really referring to when it talks about the truth will set you free, but it's going to hurt first. But now that you have a decision on your own to decide to stay with that. But we should give some sort of credit to the person that decides to tell you the truth about how they feel and say, you know what, I respect that. I respect that the fact that you don't feel sorry for what you did. You're sorry that it hurted me. Is hurted a word? I don't even know. But I'm sorry that it hurt you. So that's what they're sorry for. So I think it's on twofold for us to develop better communication as people. The person that's speaking needs to be more intentional about what is it they're really feeling and say that. And then the person receiving it needs to give credence or credit or some level of understanding to the person that's deciding to be truthful so that we can encourage truth speaking. Another thing that we do a lot is LOL. Man, how many of us put LOL in a text and you're sitting home like this with a straight face, but you're texting LOL and you're not even grinning the least bit. It's all in your head. So something like that is what we do. I remember a couple of years ago, I was trying to push this new, to have LOL, laughing out loud. I wanted to put laughing in my head, which was LIMH. Yeah, LIMH, like laughing in my head. Because I recognize that, we're pretty much lying and we're practicing to just not tell the actual reality of what's happening. But it never caught on. But laughing in my head, because that's really what we're doing. When somebody texts you something, you don't actually laugh out loud. Or sometimes we even put rolling on the floor. And you're sitting on your couch. You're not even on the floor. And you put rolling on the floor because in your head, this is so funny, but you're not laughing at all. So because of these things, we, I think as us, as humans, we practice saying things that are not actually happening, which really hinders our communication. And this becomes very problematic in relationships, any type of relationship, not just romantic relationship, any type of relationship between friends, co-workers, whatever. We sometimes issues come up that really could be avoided if we all be more intentional about our communication. Part of that is knowing the different types of feelings that exist, the different kinds of emotions that we have. I know now when people ask you, hey man, what's up? How you doing? I'm like, good. What I do, I challenge my kids. I'm like, how was your day at school? They're like, good. I'm like, give me another one. Give me another adjective. And then they'll search. It was exciting. Oh, okay. Why was it exciting? Giving them an opportunity to be more what was the word here? Self-reflective, I guess, and looking into themselves and say, well, really, how was my day? Was I excited? Was I anxious? Was I sad? Was I confused? Was I, you know, like there's so many different emotions that we don't refer to them. But I think we need to challenge ourselves and challenge our friends to don't give me good. How are you doing? Good. I'm okay. What does that mean? I don't know what that means anymore. Good is like the equivalent of don't ask me how I'm doing. You know, you might as well say that. I'm okay. Okay, I should have never asked that because you don't want to talk about how you're doing. I would prefer us to become get to a place where we's like, I don't feel like commenting on how I'm doing right now. I think that's way better than to just say, okay, because okay could mean anything. It could mean good. It could mean bad. It could mean anything, right? But then the issue is now, how can you expect someone to communicate with all these different feelings if they don't even know the different feelings that exist? And that's another part of our communication glitches that we have, where the individual, me, I don't even know all the different feelings that I have. All I know is happy, sad, upset, depressed. Beyond that, I have no clue and how to express my feelings. This is huge, especially in relationships, because, okay, I'll give you an example. So let's say I'm a husband. I come home, I see my wife at the edge of the bed. And from my perspective, she looks sad or upset. She looks upset about something. And, she's just there sitting on the side of the bed. And I'm like, you good? What's wrong with you? And she says, I'm okay. I'm going to automatically assume she's lying. Something is obviously wrong, but she don't want to say what it is. I'm going to start to think it's me. And then that might throw me into a weird mood when the issue could be something like she is empathizing. Let's go with that one. She's empathizing. Empathizing is your ability to share someone else's feelings. So in that moment I came in the room, she was empathizing with some random friend or random person that is going through something. Maybe somebody that lost a child or something traumatic. I don't know. But that time when I came in, she was empathizing with someone else's feelings. So when I see that, I don't think empathizing. I think, yo, you mad, So if she doesn't take the time to really articulate exactly how she's feeling, this whole situation can just get out of hand for no apparent reason. So let's replay the whole scenario again. Hey, babe, you good? Like what's wrong with you? She's like, oh, her recognizing that, oh, well, what he's seeing. Oh, I'm just empathizing right now. I hear that word empathizing. I'm like, oh, well, with who? You want to talk about it? She's like, oh, maybe she might say no. Or maybe she might say, yeah, I'm just thinking about what's his name and his situation. And, it just got me thinking. So now that whole situation is squashed for me. I don't feel like I'm in trouble. Is it something I did or didn't do? I don't walk around now with an extra attitude. And she now has to kind of figure out why I have an attitude and how come I got an attitude, because I wasn't concerned about she's the one that was feeling bad and I didn't take the time to. All this could be avoided if we all just really, again, pay close attention to our feelings and exactly what we're feeling. Every time someone is angry, they're not depressed. You can be anxious and you're not disgust. There's two different things, even though, again, but someone else looking at you can't really tell the difference. Where if I'm looking at you, I'm going to default to the basics of emotions. Oh, something wrong with you. Oh, you mad, you upset, but there's excited. Like sometimes I'm excited, Sometimes I'm bored. I'm just bored. I'm disgusted. I'm angry. I'm craving. Sometimes you're in a craving mood, and you just, that might look like you're flustered, but you're not really flustered. You're just, I'm craving a particular thing and I can't really get it. So I look flustered, but I'm in a craving mood. So if someone is able to communicate that's exactly how they're feeling, you can get a better response from the person that's trying to engage with you. Satisfaction is another one, right? I feel satisfied. Wow, that is very specific. Can you imagine? How are you feeling? How are you? And you said, I feel satisfied. Well, that is a very specific feeling. That's a great response. Like that would cause me as the hearer to be like, wow, like I want to engage more in this. Like, okay, you feel satisfied. Oh, well, I'm so glad to hear that. Feeling satisfied is different from, I don't know, joy or excitement. There's those slight differences between those emotions, right? So I'm feeling satisfied right now. I feel accomplished is another thing, another word that is not really excitement, is not really joy. It's I feel accomplished. So if you use that word again to someone, how are you? I'm feeling accomplished. Oh, wow. You got a lot done today, huh? We can get into specific conversations and not just be talking and using our energy words for no goal in mind. We're just going through the normalcy of, talking. Sexual preferences. Sexual preferences, is that it? That's not what I want to say. I want to say, like you're horny. Like, I know most people wouldn't want to say that. Like, how are you feeling today? I'm feeling a bit horny right now. That's kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, sexual desires. Let's call it that. Like sexual desires, right? So sometimes, somebody catch you in that time when you're in a, I don't want to say horny. I can't think of another word. Dang, my words are limited when it comes to this. My sexual desires are high right now. I don't know, something like that. Sometimes, and that can look like frustration. That can look like reservation or something. Because we all exhibit our sexual lack in different ways, right? So, but if you can tell somebody, hey, how you feeling today? I'm a little sexually frustrated. Oh, okay. So now I can properly interpret when I see you getting a little loud, when I see you looking a little frustrated, when I see you looking a little angry. I can interpret that a little bit and say, okay, I know what's happening over there. So again, communication. Oh, fear. I forgot about that one. Fear is another one. If I could be feeling fearful at the time, and that might look like reservation or I don't want to talk to you, but really I'm scared, and it's causing me to worry. Oh, this is another one. I like this one. Mourning and grieving. So there's actually learned this the other day. You're mourning and grieving. Sometimes you're in a mourning state, and sometimes you're in a grieving state. I know many times we communicate both to mean the same, but grieving is inward, and mourning is like outward, right? I hope I get that right. I'm not. If I'm wrong, it's the flip. But I'm just gonna go with this one. I think this is it. Grieving is inward, right? So, and when you're mourning is things that you do outward. So you might be crying. Someone can be grieving and they never cry, but they're in the state of reflection, which is inward. Like you're constantly reflecting on the situation, and because it's inward, you might be behaving in a way that most people would not see. But when you're mourning, it's more visual. right? So those are two different things. Again, we communicate both words to really mean the same thing 90% of the time. So again, it really calls for us to take, what's the word here? Deliberate, I think is a nice word. A deliberate attempt to really reflect what we feel. Because if many times, we want help. I want somebody to help me and talk to me and see my issues, but you can't even articulate how you feel. So how can I even begin to help you if you can't articulate exactly how you're feeling? I would like to think that we can get faster help if we learn how to communicate our feelings correctly and more specifically. So yeah, that's it, man. I think that's it for this episode about communication. Let's all be deliberate. Not intentional. That's the word I wanted to use. Let's all be more intentional in our communication. Let's take the time to self-reflect on exactly how we're feeling and what specifically am I feeling in this moment, and practice saying that out loud. First to yourself and then to others, and let's also help to hold each other accountable to, give me more details. Don't just brush me off. I know sometimes when you don't know people like that, you just got to take the brush off and keep it moving. But for those that you do know and those that you're, willing to have that extra listening and extra conversation with, let's take the time to push in and say, hey, how are you feeling? And don't give me the normal, I'm okay. No, how are you really feeling? And I know that's like a big, wide question, because most of us will think, well, in what area are you talking about? That's up to you, the individual. Choose an area. You want to talk about your job. You want to talk about family. You want to talk about your love life. You want to talk about your career. You want to talk about kids. If you got kids, you want to talk about, I don't know, religion. How are you feeling? There's always so many different parts of our lives that we can pick one and then be intentional in what is it you want to say. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for joining. Please share. If you're watching this on YouTube, give a like, give a comment. Let me know if there's something that you want to talk about, you want me to talk about. And if you want to come on the show as well, that's also available. You can email me at this email that you see at the bottom of the screen. And let's get to talking. Let's keep the conversation going about us so we can become better people. Peace out. Love y'all.